Born August 13, 1926, the illegitimate son of a sugarcane planter, Fidel Castro earned respect early on, excelling academically and athletically. Entering college in 1945, he joined one of the many campus intellectual groups that vied for political power at the University of Havana. By the time he earned his degree in 1950, he had already led the Law Students Federation, become a founding member of a new liberal reformist party, and participated in 2 foreign political uprisings in Colombia and the Dominican Republic. When dictator Fulgencio Batista seized power in Cuba in 1952 and canceled the congressional elections, Fidel organized an insurgency campaign to end Batista's illegitimate reign. After years of guerrilla training, Fidel's vastly outnumbered force defeated Batista's army, sending him into exile in 1959. Fidel Castro was now the Cuban leader and a hero to his people. He was a symbol of hope for the lower classes, but he would soon become a threat in the eyes of the United States, a country with political and economic interests in Cuba. Tensions came to a head during President John F. Kennedy's administration. The CIA-backed Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961 failed, but the most precarious situation involving Fidel was the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, when the Soviet Union transported nuclear missiles to Cuba, arming them in silos within striking distance of the United States.
His willingness of a very small country to take on the United States was pretty dramatic, and it led to arguably the most dangerous moment in world history, where we almost went to war over Cuba.
To regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union.
Relations between the U.S. and Cuba deteriorated, resulting in an embargo and an end of diplomatic relations by 1963. By this time, Fidel had declared Cuba an official socialist state, seizing foreign assets and redistributing farmland. He took great pride in establishing a reputation for the small island, changing the world's view that it was merely an American colony. At the same time, he was careful to not appear as a puppet of the Soviet Union. Over time, Fidel successfully deployed thousands of troops to support leftist revolutions in Africa.
He exported revolution all throughout Latin America. The Cuban army was sent to Angola, to Mozambique, to Ethiopia, to Yemen. I mean, Cuba, a tiny island which is smaller than Pennsylvania and only has 10 million inhabitants, actually was playing the role of a superpower.
At home, he started a movement to wipe out illiteracy and nationalize the healthcare system to provide free medical care to all Cubans. Despite any progress he claimed, Fidel remained a dictator, wielding absolute power over all Cubans. This power would be put into question with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. No longer the recipient of Soviet aid, his country felt the wrath of economic collapse and food shortages. As a result, Cubans began fleeing to the southern United States by the thousands, seeking refuge from a repressive government. His influence expanded to other Latin American countries, who aligned themselves with Fidel's anti-American views.
And then this other thing that gave him a lot of staying power is the David and Goliath story, right? How such a tiny island, led by this charismatic figure, was able to withstand the most powerful nation in the history of the planet.
In 2006, he temporarily handed over power to his brother Raul while recovering from an illness, leading to speculations that he was seriously ill. In February 2008, he announced he would not return to office.